Welcome, everyone, to the Monday Minute. I'm so glad that you're joining me today because we're going to talk about a very, very essential show up positive action that we all need to be practicing right now, and that is being a witness. Learning to be a witness, putting our cape away, and just being present for other people in their moment of pain and anxiety, and letting them know that we're there and that we care. And it's no matter how you feel about the Supreme Court decision, I think it is important right now to be a good teammate to others around you. And please do not expect that people are going to just show up and put a smile on their face. There are some people for whom this issue is very close to their heart, and they're going to be very troubled, and they're going to need us to have some grace for them and to be present for them and to give space to them. And I just want to remind you, I'm going to read a little passage from the book. I don't do that often, but it's important to understand what I don't mean by show up positive. And here's what I say in the book. If the show up positive movement is about Pollyannish optimists who die in the wake of adversity or go along to get along peacemakers, it won't be a movement for long. Therefore, you must embrace these lessons. A positive culture does not accept a turd cake and pretend it is delightful or hold out false hope, a futile promise that only leads to recurring disappointment. Instead, it grasps reality with all its flaws and disappointments and chooses not to let the imperfections define the possibilities. So if your inclination as a leader who cares about your people is just to ask them to put a bright smile on today, that's probably not the right answer. But you can tell people, I see you're upset and I care about you. And I just want to give you these very valuable and wise words from one of my favorite female authors, Glennon Doyle, from her book, Love Warrior. Because this really hit home for me on Saturday as my daughter came to speak to me about the decision that the Supreme Court made and the implications for her and other young women like her who are losing a right and freedom that they think is important to their rights and their equality in America. And these are the words of Glennon. We think our job as humans is to avoid pain. Our job as parents is to protect our children from pain, and our job as friends is to fix each other's pain. Maybe that's why we all feel like failures so often, because we all have the wrong job description for love. People who are hurting don't need avoiders, protectors, or fixers. What we need are patient, loving witnesses, people to sit quietly and hold space for us. People to stand in helpful vigil to our pain. So even if the finding of the Supreme Court is not a painful moment for you, even if it is perhaps in your view a point of celebration, if you care deeply about the people you work with, even if you disagree ideologically about the right of women to seek medical abortion, it's important that we allow people space to feel all of their feelings. And that doesn't mean that people get to be angry and lash out. Lashing out is not a helpful thing. But, bearing witness, if you care about somebody saying, hey, I see you're sad, I see you're in pain, that's what witnessing is about. And you know what? It is not just about the SCOTUS decision. It's important to understand that Black and brown people who see injustice almost on a daily basis in the world around them, they feel this constantly. People who are part of the LGBTQ plus community, transgender people, anybody who is othered has moments where they just need people around them who will witness their sadness and their pain for the lack of equality and the loss that they feel in the way that they are being treated in this moment. And so witness is a show up positive action because we're not fixing, we're not trying to help others avoid, but we are just being present and we are being there for somebody that we care about. And as Glennon Doyle said, it's one of the most selfless acts of love. And it can tell you it's one of the hardest things to do for me as a parent, in parenting my young girls through this moment in time. But I think of my Black and brown sisters and every child that they've watched gunned down in the streets, and the pain and the conversations that they have to have. So this is not something new. This is not a new conversation. It is not a new way of being, but holding space for one another right now without judgment, giving people an opportunity to process and being supportive while they're processing is what I'm talking about in these words of witness. And so in the chat, I just want to let you know, I put a link to a website that gives some very, very helpful suggestions on how we can all hold space for one another. I encourage you to read this blog on goodtherapy.org. But it talks about things like using our deep listening skills, where we really ask questions to understand and allow people to deepen their own connection with what they're saying, to hold people with unconditional positive regard, regardless of whether or not we agree with what they are saying. We're not there to judge, letting go of being there to judge and just focusing on being present and allowing the other person to feel whatever they are feeling, to breathe with them and remind them to just keep breathing, and to not try to usurp their pain by talking about our own stories, but just being there to listen to somebody else's stories without judgment, without that inclination to fix, which, hey, I'm telling you, I'm one of those people. I like to fix things. So this practice of witnessing, this is a difficult practice, but you know what? We can do difficult things when we are committed to showing up positive for ourselves and for people around us. And you know what? If you need somebody to be your witness today, reach out. I am here for you. And I am happy to get on a call, get on a Zoom, or just listen to you in my DMs. I know a lot of people have a lot of reasons to struggle in the world today in these current times. And we can allow our struggle to divide us, or we can allow our struggle to be the thing that helps us find commonality and support and deeper caring for one another. And that's where I'm putting my positive energy, is connecting with people and allowing this to be a moment that brings us together. This is your Monday Show Up Positive Minute. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll be back next Monday again, and every Monday thereafter at 12:45 p.m. And if you haven't purchased your copy of Show Up Positive yet, please do so. If you love the book, leave a review on Barnes & Noble and Amazon.com, because your words carry so much more weight than my little description of the book on the back of the cover. I want 1 million workers across the world to find this book and find the promise of tapping into their own agency and creating what they want in their workplace. And I need you to help me make that happen. Thank you for being with me, and I'll see you again next week. Have a great one. Bye.